Hello, fellow neets. So, I just got my shot for the flu shot today. I got 2 shots. I got a COVID booster and I got a flu shot because I want to make sure for my trip to Japan this month that I make sure I do not get sick, because that wouldn't be very fun to be sick in Japan. But because of the shots, I feel kind of tired. It's sort of weighing down on me. It also doesn't help that I stayed up really late last night talking to people on Discord. So I'm gonna try to make this video quick as possible so I can get some rest for the weekend before I do stuff. So I don't know. I'm gonna start with, I can't think right now. This flu shot is like crazy. Do you guys ever get that where you get the flu shot and you're so tired you can't think? Like, nothing's coming to my brain right now. Anyways, I'm going to find something. I'm gonna try to find something around my house to draw. Could I maybe draw this thick tree here? I think I'm gonna save that for later. I know what to draw. This water bottle. Oh, my arm's heavy. This bottle is a lot heavier than it seems because of the needle. Aha! So I got this water bottle here that I bought a while ago. And in general, I have sort of a philosophy when it comes to buying things. I buy nice things, but I don't like replacing them. I like to use the same things for a long time, and I like to make sure the things are beautiful, because if they're nice looking, you're more inclined to take care of it and use it for longer. So this bottle, even though it was a bit pricey up front, I don't think I'm going to replace this bottle for a very, very long time. And that's great. It definitely looks super cool. And whenever people see it, they're like, oh my God, that's such a cool bottle. It definitely fits you. I think a pattern that I like a lot in like a lot of my clothes is like the floral, like the sort of like monochromatic floral patterns. I don't know why, but it's just like my thing. It's like a lot of things I see, it reminds me of like the chrysanthemum patterns. That's used in a lot of like Eastern clothing, like the kipao or kimono, stuff like that. It reminds me of that, and I think I like the look of it a lot, of the patterns. It gives a unique flair to it, I think. So, some interesting challenges with this water bottle is getting the pattern to look flush with the actual bottle. Because if you know my art style, it uses many lines, and I use those lines to demonstrate sort of a 3D pattern. But what if the image is 2D on a 3D object? Then what do you do? Well, I'm going to have to sort of think about the best way to put like a pattern on an object. You sort of just can like draw it somewhat flat looking, and then it just somewhat works, I guess. But I don't know, I'm just gonna have to see and find out for myself. So today we're gonna be using the Pocket Note from Mijiushi, and for the pen, we're gonna be using the Zebra Sarasa. It's a very smooth pen that's really great for writing Chinese or Japanese characters like very fine characters and just general writing, it's highly recommended. This is the Sarasa Grand. So there's a standard one that's cheaper. This is the grand one because I know this is a really good pen. So I bought the one that's gonna last a lot longer and it looks a lot nicer. So this is gonna be definitely a classic pen that I keep using for a very long time. So I'm gonna use this page. I know you can kind of see what I did on the back of this page last time, but I don't really care. And I'm just gonna draw on this page anyways because I don't want to waste paper. So the date today is Friday, December 8th, 2023. So it is 2023 December December 8th. Did I say 28th? It's 8th. Sorry, I'm losing myself from this needle. Here, maybe I should zoom in a bit more. There we go. So, as usual, I'm going to start out with the outline of this bottle. The thing is with this bottle is that the outline is very simple. You don't have to think about it too much. And it's just gonna be a simple tubular shaped outline here. And it's gonna be very clean. This is just so simple. I think I got about all the proportions correct. It's just not too much of a big deal. And then I'm gonna draw this upper ridge here. There's like a small dent in the lid there. There's like some small scratches on this water bottle, but that's fine. It still looks nice, and I definitely, because it does look nice, I try my best to take care of it as much as possible. That's why, like, I just try to recommend, like, people to, I guess, surround themselves with things that aren't maybe not necessarily stuff that other people want to buy, but what you personally find makes you happy, right? Like what makes you feel good. Because I know people buy stuff like the Hydro Flask or something. I personally just didn't like the design. Like, I didn't like the plainness. It didn't speak to me as much. I know a lot of people buy it because they want like it to be like environmentally friendly or something. They're also just very expensive. But I think this one, the artwork on it really spoke to me. That's why I thought it was like so like nice, I guess. So I'm just drawing like the main contours of the water bottle. And so since it's mostly done right now, like you don't really have to do much because it's literally just a bottle. It's not that complicated. Maybe other than that I can just add shadows. It's like I could just add shadows just to make it more interesting. I'll try, I will try that. I'll just draw the outlines for the shadows here. And just see how it goes. Obviously, I'm not gonna be perfect with it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect. There we go. So I'm starting to get sort of the shadow going on here. Maybe I can emphasize the difference between the outlines and the shadows by darkening the outlines here. I really like the red that this pen has. It's a very nice red. Just add some extra weight to the outline here so it's very clear what parts of the artwork are outlines and which parts are the shading. Another thing I like to do sometimes is if I want to, keep something for long, I try to customize it in some way. So, if you guys know about like amiibos, here I'm just drawing the shadow here. Like amiibos, I used to really be interested in like amiibos. The thing is that I didn't like how the quality wasn't always like the greatest on them, like the molding. So what I would actually do is I would go out of my way to paint them, and to like use sculpting material, like what is it, like green stuff or like Sculpey or something to fix up the molding and try to make it better looking. And I found that it's just, yeah, once you make them like more appealing and you have that like sense of like self-satisfaction, it's like, oh, I did that. That's something I did. Then it's like you're much more inclined to take care of it and to make sure it's safe, it's clean. And I think that way, if people were to think more like that, there would be a lot less waste. I'm just going to try to add some lines here to see if this can give it some depth in the shadows. Like very, like spaced out lines. There we go. Just like this. Doesn't need to be perfect. I like to add some extra lines in between the lines to add like depth to it, to make it a little bit darker in some areas. That was a technique that's very often used by Moebius. He's a very famous comic artist, a French comic artist. I'm gonna see if I can draw just straight lines here for like the shadows, and this will kind of, it's like the lines are going around the object. So the shading itself also needs to follow perspective. So I'm just going to add some duds here so that it looks like it's going around the contours. There we go. And so Yeah, this goes around the contours, just the shadows, and it looks about right. You draw it, it establishes the surface of the water bottle, so it's kind of like a blank slate for you. Like that. So this will establish the shape of the water bottle. You can see I kind of have the shading going and whatever. Even though it's just a water bottle, it's like oddly advanced. Maybe I'll add some more like dotted lines here to emphasize this little ridge here. I just curve them a bit so they're not completely in line with the other lines. So when you look at it from afar, it looks more like it's the pattern fits more. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best I can explain it as. Yeah. So like with the amiibo things actually, I really liked amiibos because I was just like some nerd, some weirdo, weird, neat. And I just really liked them because they had my favorite characters and stuff like that, like my favorite Nintendo characters. But yeah, the print quality I've noticed just wasn't very good. So what I would do is I would actually modify them so that they would be more like what I'd imagined the character would look like as I guess a figure. Because they're just meant to be cheap and affordable for kids. So yeah, and then what I used to do too is because I didn't have any like money, is that I would actually take the amiibos and then I'd paint them and then I would resell them. And that would give me some pocket change to buy more amiibos. And then I would take all the pocket change I made from just making amiibos, and that was to buy more paints, to buy more amiibos. And I started with painting amiibos for my friends from school. This was like early middle school or like late elementary school when this happened. Yeah, I would start like buying a couple amiibos, and then because for me I couldn't afford them. What I would literally do is I just paint them and then try to make money off of them. And because I was like kind of obsessed with them, it became sort of like just like a hobby for me. But that's how I was able to afford buying amiibos like that. So I just kind of drew like the outlines of like the little flowers and stuff here. They look pretty good. So maybe I can just start drawing like some of the contours or something, like maybe some of the more of the other shapes. Here we go. And then I can just direct the lines more like just how, because we already established like the other lines that establish the contours of the water bottle, we can kind of just do whatever for the shading of the flowers. That's the cool part about drawing with lines. I love how when you draw with lines, it's just you can do so much with the direction of the lines and stuff like that, and it's really nice. You can be so creative with like your use of it, and it's very versatile. And it makes it really fun to use stuff like that. I think like another thing I used to do in school was I just always loved drawing. So because I wanted to make it like my passion or like my thing, I didn't have art supplies per se. I didn't have money to buy them usually because they're too expensive. But what I would do is at school, I would draw portraits of some of the kids in my class, like the students, and I would try to do them well, and I'd do it for like some like pocket change or something. It's like $2-3 at first, just because a lot of the classmates they can't afford things, but they love seeing like pictures of themselves or their friends or something, and that was really fun. But then I'd use that $2 or $3 to buy like a pack of pencil crayons. And then I use those pencil crayons to draw more advanced artworks that cost more. So what I would do is I'd charge more for colored artworks and justify it with because I'm using pencil crayons and it costs money for it, right? So I started paying a little bit more. But then I started to get the attention of teachers, like teachers wanting to buy artwork from me. But then I knew the teachers had more money to spend because they had jobs. So I would charge not $2, but it got to a point where I started charging like $50 for artworks for teachers, and that money was enough to get me like pretty much anything I really wanted. Like, cause there were so many teachers that would at a point that would eventually try to commission me. I had like a wait list. I had a queue of just people who wanted to buy from me, just in school or whatever. And that was like my first experience with running kind of like a business. It was really weird. It was really informal. A lot of the teachers were just doing it because it's like, oh, it's like kind of cute. It's like a lemonade stand, but it actually eventually turned into something like pretty serious even. And so now to this day, when I buy stuff, I just have this mindset like, how am I going to make money from this? Because I don't know, it's like sort of frugal. It's sort of like a frugal mindset, but also investment, you know? I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's like I don't typically spend money on stuff unless I think I can make money from it. And that's just generally how I've always been. I don't know, it's kind of like maybe a business mindset, but to me it's just normal because I never had any money to spend, so I'd find ways to make money from other kids, and it was kind of funny. I think doing that at school it gave me such a sense of satisfaction and control in like my life, and it kind of shows because the times for me that were like the worst was when I was unable to do stuff like that, where I had to move schools so many times, and every time it's just like you move schools and your whole established like reputation is gone. You have to start over. It got to a point where it's just like I couldn't, or it was because I was so unstable I couldn't actually even do that thing, and it was really bad. And I remember I got like very, very depressed from it actually. Because you lose the sense of control in your life that you feel like you're actually getting somewhere. It feels like you're just kind of going with like the waves and you just want to, it's like every day feels like the last day and you're just kind of like riding the days out, waiting for your life to just like be finished or be over. It wasn't fun. It definitely was not fun. I would not want to go through that again. Maybe in the end it was a good lesson on what not to do, but it definitely not fun. Definitely would not recommend something like that. And that was just like my hikikomori phase, I guess. Here we go. I got something here. I'm just trying to get some more of the darker shades down here. I don't know. I guess I've always just had like the sort of entrepreneurial mindset. I would never really consider myself like a business person before. I just wanted money to buy like the really autistic like hobbies that I liked. Like cuz I had like really strange hobbies that like costed money. It's like I wasn't interested in toys. I was interested in more like creating stuff, and a lot of art supplies and materials are very expensive actually. Especially for like a kid to afford something like that is quite difficult actually. So and I also wanted the good stuff because at the time my skill level was it was in the range where it was too good to use Crayola stuff, but it wasn't good enough for like the professional, and I also wasn't an actual professional, so it was that weird limbo of like in between a professional and like an amateur. And so I wanted to see what I could do, especially since it's just like when you're a kid, you just have time to do whatever, right? And I'm just drawing some messy lines here to see if they just land like just be super messy. It doesn't matter. Maybe back over here I can darken some of the lines here in this ridge so it stands out a bit more. Yeah, but it's just like as a kid, you had so much time to just experiment. Although I was like pretty young, I was like 12 when I did that. I was like 11 or 12. So I don't know. Most kids aren't doing that kind of stuff, but I was. And it was just an idea I thought of on my own. But I think I don't know. Maybe it runs in the family because I have a family of very entrepreneurial people. Not very successful though. Definitely not the most successful entrepreneurs. So I knew it is a possibility. There we go. It's like messy there, but that kind of adds character, I think. Okay, I think this is about done actually. Yeah, this is good. Spent quite a bit of time on just a water bottle. I enjoyed it in the end anyway. So, in the end, this was the water bottle. I put a lot more detail than I thought. I just kind of, even though I guess I'm tired, I kind of landed in like the zone, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, sometimes when it's just like you're inhibited and your brain has to like turn off, it actually makes you more focused and in the zone. So I just kind of kept going with this water bottle. Even though it's just a simple water bottle, it ended up turning like really well, turning out really well. So it's just the pattern is on top of the water bottle like this. And I think as long as you establish the contours of the bottle and the shading first, then it kind of like feels about right, like it's a pattern, I guess. Other than that, it's just like making sure your line widths are like there is really important. It definitely takes a lot of practice, and maybe you need to see like what some other artists have been doing. And I definitely recommend listening to or looking at Mobius's artwork or Katsuya Terada's artwork if you want to master this kind of style. They're very good at drawing lines and contours, and just they're so masterful with like shading with lines and details and stuff like that. So it's definitely recommend. Maybe you can start with Katsuya Terada sketch, or also, what is it? I don't know how to pronounce the French Mobius books, but picking up any one of his books and just like looking through his art, it very, very good. If you want to show me the artwork you've been working on, it can be anything. Literally just show me what you use my videos to work on. So it could be anything you're working on. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing I'm drawing, just anything. I'm just interested to see, and I can share it with the community, and you know, it's gonna be fun. You can add me on Twitter at Elisa's Art Diary, or on Instagram at Elisa's Art Diary. So I'm very much looking forward to what you guys create. Bye.